I wonder if some may argue that recklessness is not the call within this tragic event. A subjective, judgmental statement, but the engineer, Brandon Boston, was working this job since what, 2010? So he's been on for 5 years, and supposedly he was going more than double the speed before hitting that curb. Now, upon the investigation, train control hasn't been installed on that particular part of the track. So if there was train control there on the track, then 9 times out of 10 the train wouldn't have derailed. So that's what they're saying, that could be one of the most important factors. The engineer claims that he has no recollection of anything taking place before hitting the emergency brake, you know what I mean, while traveling at that rate of speed, 106 miles per hour. In my opinion, I would say it was based on human error.
Crash in Philadelphia is quickly coming down to one question. Why was the train going twice as fast as it should have? The NTSB confirmed the train was going more than 100 miles an hour before it derailed.
The engineer who was at the controls told his lawyer he cannot remember what happened. We will talk with the NTSB lead investigator about that in just a moment. But first, Chris Van Cleve is near the scene of the crash in Northeast Philadelphia. Chris, good morning.
Good morning. Investigators recovered a data recorder and a camera from the wreckage yesterday. That's still being analyzed. Crews are back out at the scene this morning as the investigation is increasingly centering around the speed of this train as it derailed. As crews work to clear the wreckage, the investigation into the deadly derailment is increasingly focused on the train's engineer, Brandon Boston. The National Transportation Safety Board says the train was traveling at 106 miles per hour where the track curves, more than double the speed limit for that section. The engineer applied the emergency brake moments before it derailed, but it did little to slow the train down. Philadelphia's mayor said there is no reason the engineer should have been traveling that fast.
Clearly, he was reckless and irresponsible in his actions. I don't know what was going on with him. I don't know what was going on in the cab, but there's really no excuse that could be offered.
Boston lives in Queens, New York, and has been an Amtrak engineer since 2010. His attorney told ABC News Nightline Boston has no memory of the accident.
He remembers driving the train. He remembers going to that area generally. Has absolutely no recollection of the incident or anything unusual.
After the crash, he was treated for injuries and taken to a police station. He declined to make a statement before leaving with his lawyer. And as of Wednesday, he had yet to speak with NTSB investigators. I wanted to ask you the significance of the amount of speed this train had when it approached the curve.
Trains go over this particular curve many times a day, and trains don't derail. Here we've got one that's doing twice the speed, and it derails.
Surveillance video shows the train moments before it went off the tracks. The camera captured the electrical sparks from the crash. On Wednesday, rescuers expanded the search area, looking for those who are still unaccounted for. One of the survivors, 30-year-old George Alexiadis, suffered injuries to his right arm. He remembers the chaos inside the train.
There was a girl that ended up where you put your luggage. She ended up there. She hit her head and ended up there. And I had to help her down. And I just still can't believe that I was on that train.
Amtrak is in the process of installing mandated technology that would remotely slow down a speeding train. The deadline for installation is the end of the year. The NTSB told me they believe this technology could have prevented an accident like this.
All right, thank you, Chris. Crews are working around the clock to repair the tracks, but this morning it is still unclear when Amtrak service will be restored between Philadelphia and New York City. The 7 people who died in this disaster included tech CEO, a future U.S. Navy officer, and a college dean who had just finished his Ph.D. Jerika Duncan is outside Philadelphia's Temple University Hospital, which treated dozens of injured passengers. Jerika, good morning.
Good morning. We've just learned within the hour that 16 people remain here at the hospital, and 8 of them are in critical condition. But for the more than 200 people on that train, doctors say the psychological impact should not be overlooked.
5 of the 7 people killed in Tuesday's crash have been identified. They include Abid Gilani, a senior vice president with Wells Fargo, Jim Gaines, a 48-year-old father of 2, and Justin Zemser, a 20-year-old Naval Academy midshipman.
It was wonderful. It was absolutely wonderful. Everybody looked up to my son, and there's just no other words I could say.
Derek Griffith was also confirmed as one of the passengers killed. He was the Dean of Student Affairs at Medgar Evers College in Brooklyn, New York. The school released a statement calling Griffith a pillar in the community, adding he will be sorely missed. 39-year-old Rachel Jacobs, a CEO of a tech company, was a wife and mom to a 2-year-old. She was on her way home when the train crashed. In a statement to CBS this morning, her family said she was devoted to her family, her community, and the pursuit of social justice. We cannot imagine life without her. Near the crash site, the family of 45-year-old Bob Gildersleeve passed out flyers. The Baltimore dad hasn't been seen since the crash.
Very frustrating, guys, very. Not that they're not trying, but trying and coming up empty, you don't do it.
You have no idea where he is, what hospital he's at.
In an interview posted on Twitter, Gildersleeve's son told reporters his dad caught the train 2 hours after dropping him off at a sports practice.
My name is Mark Gildersleeve. Please help me find my dad.
More than half the people who were treated for their injuries here have been sent home, but at least one doctor tells us many of the people who were on that train will need treatment for post-traumatic stress disorder as the days and months go on.
Jerika, thanks. Robert.